there, my name is Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel. You, right there, make yourself comfy. We got some stuff to talk about. If you are a subscriber who's been here for a while, I have an announcement at the end of this video, so stick around for that at the end. But anyway, COVID. Am I right? I don't have a punchline for that. Like, truly, I don't really have a hot take on, like, COVID itself because, like, it shut down every theater for the rest of 2020. But as you've probably seen, multiple theaters and artists are getting creative and they are moving all of their productions and whatnot online. So now there are full, like, cabarets that are online, concerts, classes, productions, you name it, over, like, YouTube, Zoom, Instagram Live, and things like that. While some people say this is an apocalyptic sign of the future, you have no idea how hard it is to say that. I think it's great. I think it's great that this industry is temporarily adjusting to the current environment and the current situation. I mean, I know one day we're gonna all want to come back to being in a large dark space with other people. I feel like other people are seeing this like trend in theater and thinking like, oh no, we're never going to convene together again. No, I mean, like, if you see other people who are going out to like bars and beaches and stuff without masks, which is kind of frightening, I look at those people and as annoyed as I am with them, I do see that there is still a need and a want for wanting to convene in a dark space like a movie theater or live theater, just things like that. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I still think it's great to have all of these like productions and concerts and stuff online. I mean, it doesn't really replace the real thing though. It's like drinking LaCroix and you get like a smidge of lemon, but that's all you get. It's not like having the real thing with like a buttload of sugar. But like for now, I'll take what I can get. But if you are in the mood to present some musicals online, I have some ideas. I have a couple of suggestions for musicals that already exist. You don't need to change anything in the script to make it online, and it still works. Here's my wish list of shows that I would love to see adapted over Zoom. Okay, number one on my list, Title of Show. I would watch the heck out of a virtual edition of Title of Show. I mean, I would just watch Title of Show just in general because not a lot of people around here do that show. Also, if you've never heard of the show, like, where have you been? It's so underappreciated and I will scream my love for it on the rooftops. I love it so much. For those of you who are not familiar, it is a musical about two guys writing a musical about their journey writing a musical from its inception all the way to Broadway. And here's why I think that would make a great show to put up online. It's because there's only 4 people in the cast plus an accompanist, and so like that's really just not a lot of like different various like technical situations that you have to deal with. Also, it's not really set in a specific time period. This show did make its premiere in like mid to late 2000s, but it could happen in 2020, I think. And like I said earlier, the premise is about 2 guys writing a musical, which I feel like people are doing in quarantine right now because they have the time but they can't really go anywhere. Yes, the reality of this actually happening gets a little dicey when the show's plot starts moving over to like when they're getting ready for Broadway, but I truly do not care about those logistics because that's really only like one portion of the show. Again, I haven't seen any productions of this in the area, so I will gladly watch it in any format. Next, The Last 5 Years. I know I just did a video about this, but I had to add it to the list because I mean, it's a great show to put on over Zoom. There are 2 people, so again, like Title of Show, it's a smaller cast, so it's a bit easier to manage and direct over Zoom. And these 2 people sing together in, let me check my notes, 1.5 songs. So this is so doable. The idea of the show is that there are these 2 people that they are living apart and they're kind of singing about their feelings separately for the most part. And they're in separate locations anyway, so this show would work really well over Zoom. And I don't think putting on a virtual production of The Last 5 Years would be too much of a challenge. Next one, Matilda. Hear me out on this, okay? Because I know this is not similar to the Title of Show. The Title of Show? God. This is not similar to Title of Show or Last 5 Years in any sense because this cast is enormous. It's a lot more technical than the previous 2 shows that I mentioned. So yes, if you've seen a stage production of Matilda before, you would know there is a lot going on stage. There's a lot of people on stage. Lots of technical effects and things like that. There's like swings, acrobats, scooters, things like that. But really, you could do Matilda at home. Very similar with Title of Show, and actually The Last 5 Years too, is that it's not really set in a specific era. Yes, the movie version of it was made in the 90s, but then like Matilda, like the book has been around for a lot longer than that. Even as it was filmed in the 90s and even in the book itself, it is sort of portrayed in like present day. The present day could also mean 2020. Matilda could go to school online, which I'm sure the Wormwoods would like maybe would be kind of conflicted on because yes, she's like staring at a computer all day or at a screen and they would love that. However, she is still at their house. You can also like zoom into the library to chat with that librarian. Oh, I'm blanking on her name. It's gonna destroy me later. she can like Skype with Miss Honey, and she can do telekinesis over like Google Meet or something. Actually, I think that'd be even cooler because she's not even in the same room as the person that she's performing this like telekinesis on. I think it would be even cooler if this trench pole would be like affected by this, even though she wasn't in the same room as Matilda. Being able to control people with your mind in another room is the stuff of queens. And like I said earlier, like Matilda would still interact with her parents a little bit because I'm pretty sure they would be like, oh yes, okay, so the only time I'm going to interact with my child is when we are Zooming or Skyping because I don't want to see her in person because it will make me vomit. And that works because they're so obsessed with TV and they love screens in any sort of form, not just TV. And I'm sure they would love to barely communicate with Matilda over Google Meet. And you don't even have to mention any of the aforementioned software in the script at all. Like it makes sense. There's a few spots in the show where I feel like virtual format could be a bit challenging, and a couple of them would be like Miss Trunchbull flinging Amanda Thripp in the air by holding onto her braids. Another spot would be that one kid, I'm blanking on his name, one kid who's like running because Trunchbull wants to throw him in the chokey. There's another part where Bruce has to eat a chocolate cake. There's stuff like that that would probably need a, you know, just a bit of a challenge. There's stuff like that that's, you know, needs a little bit of tweaking. And again, those are so minor, I would not care. But honestly, even that, I would still watch virtual production of Matilda. Dear Evan Hansen. Now, I'm not saying that you should put on a production of Dear Evan Hansen right now because I'm pretty sure there are some licensing issues right now because it's like on Broadway currently, so I feel like putting it on without asking permission is illegal. But if it was legal, I think Dear Evan Hansen would be a great show to put on over YouTube. Since the show is so social media heavy anyway, there could even be like added tension between like Heidi and Evan Hansen because Heidi like works in a hospital, she's a nurse I think. This year especially, it's been very stressful for them. It's like this unspoken element of tension. Evan could still hang out with the Murphys like just over Skype or whatever, and then kind of same thing with his friends, like he could just Skype with them. And like that would all still make sense. You don't have to change anything in the script. If like his mom is trying to talk to him, like Evan Hansen could really just like hold himself up in his room just being like, I'm so anxious, I could really only talk to you over a Zoom. I think that could probably work. Spelling Bee! Like kind of similar to the shows that I mentioned before, 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee would work really well logistically because the cast is so small. And personally, a spelling bee happening during a pandemic I don't think is a far-fetched idea. Like you don't need to be in the same room as other people when you do the spelling bee. Is there more opportunities for cheating? Probably. That's, you know, some logistical stuff that frankly no one else will care about, I promise. I'm just putting it out there just in case somebody in the comments is gonna be like, but wait! But also like the kids in the spelling bee are just so goody two-shoes, I don't think any of them would cheat. There is that like improvised element of it that I think would probably be a bit of a challenge to adapt over something like Zoom, because if you haven't seen the show, there are audience members who are picked to participate in the spelling bee with them, and that's where a lot of the improvised elements come from. So that element would be a bit of a challenge. And there's also a bit with Chip where he like throws candy and snacks out into the audience at one point during the show, and like I feel like that would also be a bit of a challenge. But again, I thought I'd still mention it so people aren't like, you forgot about this one part. And then lastly, first dates. The show again has a smaller cast, but also like all the scenes could be done over Zoom. Most of the show does take place at a first date, and I don't think a first date over Zoom would be a far-fetched idea. You would be surprised how many people are still dating over Zoom and just haven't met their date in person. It would make sense that people would want human interaction so much so that they will go on a first date over Zoom or FaceTime or something. And since it all primarily takes place in one location, I feel like this could be a show that you could do over Zoom or you could do virtually. It makes sense for a virtually distance production. Even that opening number, the opening number basically is a lot of people just kind of like lamenting about the dating mistakes or the worst dates that they've had in New York, which you could do in a socially distanced manner. I feel like you could do that and people won't be like, not convinced. Give me the real thing. I know theaters are closed until 2021, but what about me though? That's my wish list of shows that I would love to see performed over Zoom or a streaming service of your choice, and I hope those happen. So here's the announcement part of the video. I have been thinking about my YouTube content, and like I feel like I'm gonna maybe switch up my schedule a little bit. Those of you who maybe haven't been here for a while, I've been here for 4 years. I've been making videos every week for those 4 years. I've taken maybe 3 weeks off out of those entire 4 years. So if you do the math, I've made 200 videos in that time period. So I feel like I want to maybe switch up my content a little bit, so that might involve me taking a break here and there. But I want to sort of like expand my horizons a little bit. I have a couple of ideas. Like I have ideas for videos that like maybe some of them will work better over TikTok or Facebook, over YouTube. But then, you know, I'm thinking like maybe uploading those videos to YouTube as well. But I feel like I really want to switch things up. If doing it for 4 years, I kind of want to like do something new. So yes, be patient. If I am maybe gone for just a teeny bit, it'd be weird to like maybe switch up my content to like a different schedule. But I feel like in the long run, just it'll help with my creativity, and I feel like I won't be limited to making one particular type of video, because that's just what works on a platform. And then also I have a few sort of creative projects, down the pipeline. I have a screenplay, don't tell anyone. But yeah, I do have a couple of projects down the line that I also want to focus on, eventually want to produce once things are sort of back up and running. So yes, I want to have time to focus on that. I really want to like make it clear that like I'm not taking a break from YouTube, because I don't feel like I'm burnt out to that degree. But I do want to like kind of vary up my content, and I don't want to be tied to one specific platform. But yeah, if you want to like keep up with me on all my social medias, so then you can see when I upload another new video on any sort of format, that would be awesome. Thank you all so much for watching this week's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know like kind of what do you want to see over Zoom, because I'm really curious. I feel that there are way more shows that I could put on this list. If you like this video, please share with all of your theater loving friends, and don't forget to subscribe to me and hit me up on all my social media to watch out for my new content. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye!